Welcome to our 2.8, our final lesson on our vehicles, and we're looking at taking out a loan for a vehicle. Just like most large purchases, most people can't afford to pay $10,000–$15,000 straight out. They will have to take some sort of loan for the vehicle. We've seen loans before in grade 11, in grade 10, and in grade 12. In grade 12 we call them mortgages, which of course was a loan for our house. Because we've seen loans for our house, a loan for a vehicle is actually very similar. We're just dealing with smaller numbers. So I'll start off with the idea that a loan can be taken from a bank, like we did for our mortgages, but we can also take a car loan from a car dealership. Car dealerships learned many years ago that they can make a lot of money off of loans, and they said, why are we sending these people to the bank when we can be giving them some of our money and making our money off of the vehicle loans? So now you can get them from both. So you can actually negotiate with a bank or a car dealership. Again, to review some of our definitions here, we've got the principal of the loan, and that's the amount we're borrowing. Cost of the vehicle minus a down payment. If you go to a bank, they will require a down payment. Some car dealerships are now giving out loans with no down payment, so something you may want to consider. We've got our monthly payment to pay back our principal. We have our chart value again, which we've seen before. We will be using a different chart. And if you want to flip the pages, we can see that this is the chart we're using. It's got our years across the top, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In the past few years, we have seen terms of 6 or 7 years, but this chart only gives us to 5. And we've got our interest rates going down the side in quarter percentage points. Again, it's read the same as most of these tables. You find the interest rate and the number of years. So 4% for 4 years would be 2266. We've seen these charts before, nothing new. So we take our chart value times the principal, which we did just calculate in the previous amount, and then we divide by 1,000. We also need to be aware of something called our total repayment. So after these 4 years, these 2 years, these 5 years, whatever it is, how much have we actually paid back for our loan? That's our monthly payment, which was just calculated above, times 12 for 12 months in a year, and times the number of years that our loan is for. We also need to know about our finance charge, which is the extra money we paid, the total paid, which we just calculated, and the principal, which is our first step. You subtract those two, and that's the extra money that we paid for our car. Now the last idea is a little bit new. It's the total for our car. So I have made payments for the past 3 or 4 years. That's the total paid for the payments. But you got to remember I made a down payment at the beginning, so we add these two together for the final cost of our actual car. So let's look at our typical example here. We've got David, and he wants a car loan. The car he wants is $26,000, and the bank will give him a 3-year loan at 6.25%. Those two things there will give us our chart value. He does have a down payment of $5,000. So let's go answer these. Principal of the loan. Well, it's the cost of the car, $26,000. And he's going to give them $5,000 from his account. How much does he have to borrow? A straight subtraction. He'll have to borrow $21,000 in order to buy this car. Okay, now our monthly payment, our formula. Chart value, 3% for 6.25. Oh, sorry, for 3 years at 6.25% gives us 30.54. So our chart value is 30.54. We're going to times this by the amount we're borrowing, which we just calculated, to $21,000. And of course, we'll divide by 1,000. So we pull our calculator, multiply these through, divide by 1,000. We get $641.34. So every month for the next 3 years, David here has to pay $641.34. Total repayment. So over those 3 years, how much will David have actually paid the bank? Well, we take our monthly payment of $641.34, and we'll multiply that by 12, because that's 12 months in a year, and times that by 3 for our 3 years. Now we could have just simply said we'll times that by 36. Both work. So after our 3 years, David has actually paid $23,088.24. So that's quite a bit of money. How much extra has he paid? How much money has the bank made off of David? Well, he paid them $23,088.24. He borrowed $21,000. So a straight subtraction here. And the bank has made $2,088.24 off of David, just because they lent him some money. So that's nice to know, maybe a little depressing if you buy very expensive cars. But the thing David really wants to know is, in the end of the day, what did this car cost him? Well, he made payments of $23,088.24, but he also paid that down payment. So he also going to add his $5,000 down payment. So at the end of the day, this car, even though it was worth $26,000 when he bought it, it cost him $28,088.24. So even though he could buy it for $26,000, when he's done, it's costing him $28,000. So now we can go to our booklet and do some work on vehicle loans.